Thanks for joining today. Going to go over the consolidation process in F&O. Let me just dive into the subject straight. The slide we have here it shows that we can do two types of consolidation in F&O. One is online, also known as hard consolidation, and the other one is financial reporting, which are also called known as soft consolidation. Let me go over some Q&A to give some overview. Which one is better? It depends on your individual choice or preference. Some people like hard, some people like the soft one. So let's go over some Q&A. So do you have need to include elimination? If you have that, you can do it online and include the eliminations. And you can also do same thing in financial reporting with a separate elimination company transaction in row, column, or in tree. Or you can do financial reporting on Consolidated Company and Elimination Company. Or do you have multiple currencies? Financial reporting has unlimited reporting currencies. You can, as long as you have all those exchange rates set up, you can report on different currencies. But if you do online, you have only one reporting currency. What if you have multiple chart of accounts? You can do Consolidation Online and use Consolidation account or use Consolidation account groups for multiple chart of accounts. In the financial reporting, you can use multiple links to in financial dimension in the row to bring in different chart of accounts. Do you need transaction level details for each company? Its financial reporting consolidation is better because you can pretty much bring in the details. You can what's the English? I forget. Drill down into a detailed transaction. Sorry. Then do you need a budget planning and budget control data? In that case, your choice is financial reporting consolidation. What if you have 100% ownership, less than 100% ownership? You can use both. You can do online, you can do financial, and you can mention what percent you own. What if your data is on an ERP system? Then you can use the online consolidation, and you can do consolidation with import. Obviously, you have to map it, and then it works. What if you need business unit consolidation, organized hierarchy is required? For example, you have 10 companies that you want to consolidate all the auto division and all these companies. In that case, a financial reporting consolidation will the one will work for you. What do you have different fiscal periods? One of the companies in different fiscal years, fiscal period, you can use both for that. What do we have multi-GAAP? Some people have IFRS or some people have some tax layer transactions. In that case, you have to use financial reporting consolidation, not the hard. The online consolidation only uses one layer. I think we talked about that one. Now I can straight go to the demo. So we can do demo online and on the reporting one. So online, we'll have two companies, same chart of accounts, and we have elimination. And on the financial reporting, I have three companies. We have multiple chart of accounts. We have different fiscal period. And we have tax layer transaction, and of course, we have elimination. So the hard online consolidation, first thing we should do is set up a consolidation company. Well, I have already set up one, KRC2. And the most important thing, you have to set up the ledger, numbers, certificates, all the basic stuff. The most important here setup is you have to go to organization administration, legal entities. And you see there's use for financial consolidation process. You have to say yes because you're using this as a consolidation company. And then you're also using this company's elimination process. Now, some companies like to do a separate elimination company, and they do all their elimination entries in that company and bring that company in the consolidation. Sometimes it's helpful for tracking and audit purposes. But in our example, using the same company for elimination. Now in this F&O, all the consolidations, all this things you need for consolidation is a separate module by itself. I think it's previous, it was in different places in general ledger, but in this it's very easy. Everything is right here. So we can go first to a Consolidation Online, and we'll go across the tab and explain what everything does. The first thing is up here, obviously, you'll give it a nice name. For example, it could be for first quarter. In my example, it's for January to February. The second one is what account we are bringing in. If you want to consider only P&L accounts or some balance sheet accounts, you can limit it right here. You are not using consolidation account. If you have a company with different chart of account, you can use these two options, either main account or consolidation account group. So let me explain that what those two are. Let me go back, cancel that one. So if you have multiple chart of accounts, what you can do is you can create a group. You can name it. Once you name it, you just name it here, but the most of the works will be in account groups. Sorry, I'm going to go right here. So you have multiple chart of accounts. You can map everything from the source. This is your source accounts, and you map it to what consolidation account you want to go to. So you'll have to do it for each chart of accounts, and then once you're done, you don't have to type it. You can use the nice feature we have, import. So you can do import and map each of your chart of accounts to the consolidation account. I can use that group when you're doing the consolidation. So this is one, but if you have like 4 companies, only one is in different chart of accounts. What you can do is, for example, this company is doing different chart of account. So what you can do, you can go to GL, main accounts, and right here, you can say what consolidation account you want to go to. So whatever default consolidation account, you can mention it here, so it will consolidate to that account. So this is another way to do it if you have only one different chart of accounts. But if you have multiple chart of accounts, then the group will make sense. Let me go back here. Okay. So we just talked about that one. You can either use a consolidation or main account or the group. So once you choose the group, it'll give you an option which group you're using. But in our case, it's the same chart of account, so we are not using this consolidation account. So we're keeping it open, so we're bringing all the accounts. And this is the other one. You have to say what period you're doing for the month or for the quarter. In my case, I'm doing from January to February. And you must say yes, because that should bring the actual amounts. If you have yes, nothing will show up. Sometimes by default is some reason is no, so you have to make sure that you say yes here, so bring in the actual amount. You can also bring the budget if you want to. You can bring budget entries. And if you say yes here, then you have to say what period of the budget and what budget model and what rate type you're going to use it in a foreign exchange. The next thing is the dimension. This is where you designate what dimensions you're going to bring in. In my case, I'm bringing in department, cost centers, and legal entity. And also in what order you want to bring it in. So I want to bring dimension at this one first, this one second, so third, so you can just number them so they will come into that order. Next, you go to legal entities. That's where you say which companies you're consolidating. So in my case, I'm consolidating 2 companies, KRI, PL, NW. And you can also mention what percent. If you own 50% of this company, then you can say 50%, so it will only bring 50% of the amounts. The next tab is elimination. So you can do two-way elimination. You can do proposal only or post. If you set everything up here, and when you run the consolidation, if you just say proposal only, it will just create those elimination entries, but not post them. But if you say post, it will create and post both. But we are going to do it separately so we can go over the elimination rules. So we are not setting up any rules here. The next one is currency translation. This company is not in our legal entity, part of the legal entities that I'm consolidating. I just brought in for demo purpose. For example, this is in euro. So you can tell which account will use what default currency type and the date. For example, for these asset companies, all the assets you can bring the default, but use the date, this date for the exchange rate. Now for fixed asset, it might make sense to use the transaction date. So to look the original transaction date and then look at that rate, and it will convert it based on that date and rate. For liabilities, you can use default and you can use the date you're consolidating. For P&L account, normally it's using average rate, and the date for the rate will be the date of the consolidation. So this is just for demo purpose. This is not a part of our customer company. So once you have everything set up, we can just go ahead and run that consolidation. So we are running not as a batch right now, so you can just say okay. Once you run it, you can go to consolidation transaction. You see this two company, and you can see what transaction it brought in. You can go to actuals. It brought in all the transactions, and it did that, brought in the dimensions that we mentioned, department, cost center, and company. Same thing on other company. So we have the transactions there, but we didn't do the elimination yet. But if you go to trial balance, and use the dimensions set, and that's your combined transactions in your trial balance. So you can see all the transactions, combined transactions from that consolidation process. So next thing, we'll go and see how the elimination is done. If you go to consolidation, first you have to set up the consolidation rule. Now, normally there's two popular rules that people use. One is you can say trading partner. So you can use any dimensions to track all your intercompany transactions and use that dimension to bring all the intercompany transactions. So for example, if I go to lines, so what I'm doing here is I'm bringing all accounts, and it will go from source account to destination accounts will be the same. But if you have some kind of special handling, you want to go to different account from source to, you can say it here. But the common is always stay in the source. So whatever account I'm bringing in, stay in that account. But the main setup is right here in source dimensions. So I'm telling anytime any transaction has those two dimensions, which is I'm using as tracking intercompany transactions. So in your source company, you'll set them up. And obviously, you'll this will be part of your account structure. And every time you do an intercompany transaction, make sure you choose those dimensions. I use department, but you can use a legal entity or some other, whichever convenient. But the key is set them up and track on all your transactions. So once you have that, this is one way, and the other one is now if you have intercompany accounts, different, so you can all choose all your intercompany accounts to bring all the intercompany transaction based on the intercompany accounts. So these are my intercompany accounts in different those companies, and so I can bring in all intercompany transaction based on those main accounts. So there's two popular way. One, use the dimension, and use intercompany accounts. Once you have that set up, you can run the Elimination General. Let's run one so we can start a new one. Now remember, this Elimination General has to be set up in your consolidation company, just like a regular journal, but the type will be elimination. Let me show you quickly what you can set them up. Journal. lines. So that's why I set up the Elimination General, and the type is elimination. Okay, so we started Elimination General. Next thing you do is go to the lines. We're doing as a proposal. And remember, when you're running consolidation, if you have chosen to run the proposal or posting, it will at the time of consolidation, it will show up here, or it will show up as a proposal or as a posted if you have decided to run with the consolidation. But we didn't do it. We're running it separately. The next thing we'll do is our source company, which is our consolidation company, KRC2, and choose the rules. So one, using the trading partner first. And then the other important thing, you must, what period we are doing January to February, and what date you want to post it. Normally, you might want to post it at the end of the month. This should go through the end of the month. And you can have release date, reason code if you want, or some kind of comment if you'd like to. So once you say OK, so it will go through each account and look for those dimensions, intercompany dimensions, and bring it in. So in my example, I have two, only had this in a company, so it brought two. It looked through all the GL accounts and just look for the dimension and brought this entries. Now you can, obviously you can post it, but you cannot change any amounts. This will not, you cannot edit any amounts here. Either you can post it, or if you don't think that's the right one, you can always delete it. So that's one. And let's try another one with the other rule. We go there, we go to the lines, and create a proposal. Our source company will be our Consolidation Company, and this time we're choosing the other rule, which is going by main accounts. The date post, and what date you want to post it. Just say OK. So it's looking to going to the main consolidation accounts based on the rule and bringing the amounts across. So it's bringing the intercompany sales and the intercompany pay receivable. Now, if you have everything look okay, you can post it. So this basically is the hard consolidation. We went through the process. Now, if you have consolidation import, you can use that one. You can export balances. That's where you're seeing the transaction and the rule. We went through that. This is if you have multiple chart accounts, you create a group and map it right here. And there's a nice report. You can see this goes to the rules and gives you how the rules works. It's kind of just this report. Oh no, it's taking started. Basically, it talks about the rules. We have two rules set up, and it tells how the rules are set up. It goes to there. So right here, we have all the accounts, but it's using the department. And the other rule is using the accounts. So it's one place you can see all the rules and how they work. So that's pretty much about the Consolidation Online or hard consolidation. The other one is obviously online consolidation, which is for that example, using three companies, using multiple chart of account, using different fiscal period, and we have tax layer, and of course we have elimination. So let me go through the keys. Here is your tree. You set up the tree. So in our tree, we have there's 3 companies. This company has different chart of account and also different fiscal period. And here in the roll up, you can say if you want less than 100% of the company, you can mention their rest. So for example, this now I'm saying, okay, I want to roll up 50% of the company because I own 50% of the company. So this is the key. And the next one will be let's go to column definition. So this standard column definition, I'm bringing all the companies side by side by bringing the reporting unit from the reporting tree. So I have 3 companies, and then I have total. Then I'm bringing the elimination entries, and then the total elimination, and then the net, and also I'm bringing a transaction from the tax layer. And for the company that's in a different fiscal period, you have to mention the word fiscal period here, and you can say the what period, January to February. So that's how it works, because this company is in different fiscal period. Rest of them are the 2 of them are the same. And the way I'm bringing the consolidation amounts is by bringing the consolidation accounts right here. This is the intercompany account, this is the intercompany account. So that's how I'm bringing in the elimination entries in this case. And if you have a company that we want to bring some transaction from different tax, like these are all current layer, but you want one from tax layer, so you can, on the attribute, you can say, okay, I want the posting layer from tax. So that should bring it here, the whatever entries you booked in tax layer. Let's go to our row definition. So it's very standard, but one thing is different is because one of the company has different chart of account. So that's why you link it, you add that, you can easily add it from right here. You can add row links and you name it, and then you bring out, map all the chart of accounts, main accounts from that company. But you have 2 steps. Once you do that here, you also have to go in your tree structure and tell right here what chart of account is using. So that's how I mapped it. So it works. You have to work 2 places, in the row and also in your tree. Okay, let's try to run it. Lost it. So 3 companies, select all. Now, which one is better? It depends on which you prefer. Sometimes the audit is required to do hard online consolidation, but if it's not the requirement, most people, I believe, feels more efficient or more comfortable doing it in reporting. Okay, so here it is. So it brings us from 3 companies. It brought 50% amount for these companies. This is the total. It brought in the elimination based on the accounts we put in that tree structure. And the column structure. This is the total elimination, and this is total amount less the elimination. And also, just for demo purpose, I brought in it. So one of the companies has 1 entry in the tax layer. Sometimes you can have another multi-gap. You could have IFRS. You can do the same way. All you have to do is mention what layers you bring it in. And if you have your all kinds of setup, you can also see the same report in different currencies. So if you can do euro and other currencies, so this gives you more option to see in different currencies, different reporting currencies. But if you do hard or online consolidation, you have only one choice, one reporting currency. But in FRX, in reporting, you have can see in different currencies if the exchange rates are set up on the background. So that's pretty much covers. I hope you get some idea how it's done. So, but if you have any question, you can send it to me. If you have another different situation, obviously I can try to address those.